What we're looking at here is sums and differences of polynomial products. So we looked at adding polynomials already. We looked at multiplying polynomials already. Now we're putting that together and looking at adding or subtracting products, which are things that we multiply. What we need to know before we start this is the order of operations. You guys know the order of operations? Bed mass. Right. When you're simplifying any kind of mathematical expression, you need to consider, and it has multiple steps, multiple operations, you need to consider that order of operations, which tells you to do the brackets first, anything that you can simplify inside brackets, and then exponents, division and multiplication in the order they appear, addition and subtraction in the order they appear. So if we look at this one, what do you think is the first thing we're going to do? Brackets. But is there anything inside the brackets that you can simplify? No. There's nothing to simplify inside. So then we look for exponents. Do you see any exponents? Yeah. That 2 at the end, right? And actually all I'm going to do right here is I'm going to rewrite all this. 3x plus y minus 1. 2x minus 4 minus that squared that we see on the 3x plus 2y means multiply this thing by itself 2 times. So I'm just going to actually take that exponent and change it into a multiplication. So I'll go 3x plus 2y times 3x plus 2y. And by writing it out like that, it stops me from making that mistake that some people make with a polynomial like that where they just square the 3x and square the 2y. That's not what that squared means. It means square the whole thing, which means multiply the whole thing by itself. Next step here is multiply. So I'm going to multiply this by this, and then this by this, 2 things kind of separately. It's like 2 of those questions that we were doing yesterday. I'll do 3x times 2x, that's 6x squared, and then 3x times negative 4, which is negative 12x. So I take the 3x, multiply it by both things over here. Then I'll take the y and multiply it by both of those. So I get plus 2xy minus 4y. And then the negative 1 multiplied by both of those. Negative 2x plus 4. Now I need to do that other multiplication, and I guess I'll put it down here. This one I definitely want to bracket around because of that negative in front of it. So we'll do 3x times 3x, which is 9x squared, and 3x times 2y, which is 6xy. So that's the 3x by everything in the second bracket. Now we'll do the 2y by everything. So 2y times x. 2yx. Then I want to do 2y times 2y. So plus 4y squared. And that's everything. I've done all the multiplication. You kind of have a couple of choices where you want to go next with this. You could now simplify everything that's inside the brackets, or you can get rid of the brackets and then simplify. And it's really just a personal choice which way you'd rather do it. I think I'll just get rid of the brackets. We didn't even really need them in the first part, so I'm going to just copy that first one down without brackets. But the second one, because it has a negative in front of it, what happens to these terms inside? They all switch, right? They all switch signs, and they're all positive right now, so they're all going to be negative. Negative 9x squared, negative 6xy, negative 2 yx, negative 4y squared. Wow, there's everything. That's a lot of terms. What do we need to do next? Anybody know? Start combining like terms, right? Simplify by combining like terms. So I'm going to start with the x squareds. I have one there, 6 of them there, and -9 there. How many x squared terms do we have altogether? 6 and -9. -3, yeah. So -3x squared. Then let's do the y squareds next. We have -4y squared. There's just one of them. I'm just going to put a line through it, cross it out, show that we used it. We'll do the xy's, then the x's, then the y's, then the constants. Do we have multiple xy terms? Yes. 2 of them here, -6 and -6. This yx term is the same as an xy, right? Just in a different order, but that doesn't matter. Just like 4 times 3 is the same as 3 times 4. X times y is the same as y times x. So those 3 terms have to go together, and that gives me, I think, -10 xy. You guys check my math on that. I have been known to make mistakes. But we had 2 and -6 and -6. So -10. And then the x's, -14x. Because there's -12 and -2. And all that's left is the -4y and the +4. This one might be a little bit easier. This one has only multiplication. Just the thing that you have to think about here is how are we going to go about doing that multiplication? Because it's 3 things multiplied together, and we need to use that distributive property. But you need to think about, if you were multiplying 3 numbers together, how would you do it? So just as an aside, if I were to ask you to do 2 times 3 times 4, what would that equal?
Do we get a calculator?
You can use a calculator if you want to. 24, right? And the process that you used was, I think, multiplying 2 of those numbers. So did you do 2 times 3 and get 6, and then multiply 6 by 4 to get 24? Or you could do 3 times 4, that's 12, and then multiply that by 2 and get 24. The key is you need to multiply 2 of them first and get an answer, and then multiply that answer by the next one. And that's what we're going to do here with this algebraic expression as well. We're going to multiply 2 of them together, get an answer, and then multiply that answer by the third one. And it doesn't matter which one you do first. Like I said, you could do for that one up in the corner, 2 times 3 is 6, and then multiply by 4. Or you could do 4 times 3 is 12, and then multiply by 2. You still get the same answer. Same thing here. So you might decide to do 3x plus 4 times x minus 5. Or you might decide to do x minus 5 times 2x plus 8 first, and then multiply by the other one. Doesn't really matter. It's up to you. Again, this is just personal preference. And my personal preference is to multiply the last 2 together first. Doesn't matter though if that's not the way you want to do it, but I'll show you. This is how I do it. I'm going to leave the 3x plus 4 as is. And then I'm going to multiply x minus 5 times 2x plus 8. So I'll do x times 2x, 2x squared. And x times 8, that's 8x. And then negative 5 times 2x plus 8. So negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. Negative 5 times 8 is negative 40. So I'm still going to leave that 3x plus 4 for now because I want to simplify this polynomial in the second bracket here first to 2x squared minus 2x minus 40. I just combined the two middle terms there, the 8x and the negative 10x to get negative 2x. And you don't have to do that step either. If you want to just go ahead and multiply right away, you can. I just find if I simplify it, now I have less things to multiply. So that's why I did that. But you will find, as you do these, a style that works for you and an order that you like to do things in, as long as you're not going against the order of operations, which is bed mass, right? So now I'm going to multiply 3x by everything in the second bracket. So 3x times 2x squared, 6x cubed, 3x times negative 2x, that's negative 6x squared, and 3x times negative 40, that's negative 120x. And then I'll multiply, so that was 3x times each of those. Now I'll do 4 times each of those. So this becomes plus 8x squared minus 8x minus 160. Last step, combine like terms, 6x cubed. And then I have a negative 6x squared and an 8x squared, which gives me 2x squared. And I have a negative 120x and a negative 8x. So that gives me negative 128x and minus 160. So to find the area of the shaded region, the strategy is find the area of the whole big square, subtract the area of the small square inside. So the big square has a length of 2x plus 5, which means area is going to be equal to 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5. And then we're going to subtract the small square, and the small square has a length of x plus 3, so we're subtracting x plus 3 times x plus 3. Because it asks for it in simplest form, we need to simplify. This is an expression for the area of the shaded region, but it's not simplified. So let's simplify it. I'm going to multiply 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5, and I'll get 4x squared plus 10x plus 10x plus 25. That's taking 2x and multiplying it by 2x and by 5, and then taking 5 and multiplying it by 2x and by 5. And then I'm going to subtract x plus 3 times x plus 3. So I'm going to do x times x is x squared, x times 3, 3 times x, and 3 times 3. Continue simplifying. 4x squared, I might as well make that a 20x right now. Right, 10x and 10x. And I'll subtract x squared minus 3x minus 3x minus 9. That negative switches the sign of everything inside the bracket. So I'm subtracting all of those things. When I combine terms, I'll have 3x squared, because it's 4x squared minus x squared, plus 12x plus 16. That should be a 14. So 3x squared plus 14x plus 16.